Now, I had an opportunity to go onto a radio station. I was listening to a podcast. I was listening to a podcast of WUNC, yeah, down here in North Carolina. And James B. Duke, Distinguished Professor of African and African American Studies. Now, this some high distinguished label, this, title, not label, title this guy has. And I listened to him very attentively. And he is also a scholar on the history of hip hop. Excuse me. So as I was listening to him, I found these things very interesting. He took me like back down south. I don't know much about it, but he took me down south, and it was playing the dozen, a game they used to play, an oral game, black tradition. Yeah, I say black. I didn't say African American, so I say black tradition. And it was a family and friend game. And it was pretty much, yo, your mama, those kind of jokes, busting on each other, your sneakers are disking, your pants on, ripping, as family fun and friends and family. And we did it while we were poor. Ha! And we would bust on each other, in prison house, they call bidding on each other. But, those your mama jokes and all that busting, that was all oral and family friend, right? There's some of the history this guy was selling. I don't know where back there, 1900s, I don't know. But as I listened to him, and he was talking about how, I started listening to myself. Wait a minute. The little girls used to do rhymes and chants in the rhythm. There's rhythm. Ha! Watch it now. We talked about the melody, right? We talked about the elements of music. So now here's some rhythm. When they jumped that rope and they made those chants, remember? Oral busting. The dudes was over here busting on each other. The girls was dancing. They were making rhythm. Look at that history. Look at it come together. But the busting on each other became violent. Yeah, you remember the West and the East, and it's still messy today. Yeah, in a way, I say hats off to 50 Cent. They using him. God's using him. I don't know who's using him. But to help clean up some of this mess, yeah, I don't know about his life or anything like that, but a lot of this rap need to be chased straight off the map. Get rap off the map and all that danger and killing and unsolved murders and things of that nature. Now let's get back to something sweet, maybe hip hop or something. But the girls were chanting, and you know those chants they were doing, and the guys were busting on each other. It's almost like the girls was a hip and the guys was the hop. And they brought that together. It was family fun with rhythm and rhyme. And I'll say this again about Sylvia Robinson. She probably jumped rope also. She was the one who brought the Sugar Hill Gang in, the guys who was busting on each other. And they wasn't busting on each other. They were busting on each other with sweetness and that hip hop, that kind of thing. All that other stuff. Well, we ain't going there again. But nevertheless, Sylvia Robinson, they didn't really mention her at that award. Well, it wasn't no really hip hop thing. They just stole that. Like they stole everything else with that crooked business. But anyway, so now the girls are jumping in the guys, so she brought them in the studio and we had that Sugar Hill flavor stuff. I don't know the name of the songs, but we all remember them. Put it on. I bet you start hippity hopping. You won't stop.